We attended our last record show of the season, the Des Moines Record Show. If you'd like to see what vinyl records I picked up at the show, just keep on watching. Guys and gals, it's Hannah the Omaha Introvert. Welcome back to my channel. I know I said I was gonna film a vinyl collection update video focusing on punk records I recently acquired, but I'm gonna put this video ahead of that one because we just attended the Des Moines Record Show, and that took place this past Sunday. I'm just gonna say a few words before I show you my pickups. I never know what to expect from the Des Moines Record Show in particular. This is probably the fourth show we've attended when it comes to Des Moines, and it's a 2-hour drive one way for us. We did the early entry, so we got up super early. We purchased tickets in advance. I don't know how many early entry tickets they set for the cap, but there was a line when we got there for early entry at 8:30. So there was a little bit of a crowd at the start, an hour and a half before general admission. I just think the vinyl collecting hobby is getting a lot more competitive, which I don't like because it's harder to find the titles that I'm after that were already considered rare, and the prices are just sky high now. I've been noticing a steady increase with the prices on records. I'm sure you have too. So I'm going to show you my pickups. I wouldn't consider any of these like major grails, although several were on my want list. So I did knock off several wish list items, and a few of these I got for a decent price in this current market. I didn't even spend all my cash, so that's a win for me. However, I could have, most certainly. I believe the most I spent on a record at this show was $26, so everything was $26 or less. And let's break it down by decade. In this bunch, we have one album from the 60s, one from the 70s, and the rest were released in the 80s, which is no surprise for me, right? I'm all about the 80s. I even have 3 Scottish bands in the mix. I don't know how that happened, but let's just get into the vinyl, shall we? We shall. The first one I picked up is XTC. This is their Beeswax album, their B-sides. This is actually a Canadian pressing on this white label here. So that was pretty cool to find. I've been wanting this for a while. I kind of feel like XTC records are getting more difficult to track down. But yeah, this is just a wonderful set of B-sides from 77 to 82. A pretty key period. There's just so much XTC material out there. I have another compilation on CD called Rag and Bone. It has like some BBC sessions too on it, I believe, but it's still not complete. I think Andy Partridge's birthday was just recently too. I love Blame the Weather, Punch and Judy. So there's just some really good tracks on here. Big Country. So there was a time when this record could be easily found, at least in this area. However, in the last year or so, I see it less and less. I don't know if you guys notice that, but I finally grabbed this one for $5. It's on Mercury. It's just a US press. It's a pretty well-known record, Stuart Adamson's band. I prefer his work with Skids, but this is just like excellent pop. And Steve Lillywhite produced this. Although I was reading many reviewers poo-poo the production quality on this one. So you get into Big Country, obviously. I think the other hits were Fields of Fire and Chance. They use like bagpipe sounding guitars. Many highlights on this, and since most of you know it already, I'm just gonna leave it there. It's a great record. Next we have, I will take this out of the sleeve. This is my only 60s record in the stack. This is Tommy James and the Shondells with Cellophane Symphony. This was released in 1969. I still love my 60s pop music. I got this for $6, still in the shrink. It's on Roulette, US press. This is Tommy James and the Shondells going more prog and psychedelic. If you listen to the first track, Cellophane Symphony, it's like 9 minutes. And you'll wonder if it's really them, if it's really Tommy James and the Shondells, but there's a strong opening track on the second side as well, Changes, and I like Sweet Cherry Wine. This is probably one of the more underrated albums in their catalog, but it does not beat Crimson and Clover. I still like it with some of its filler. Again, it's an overlooked album, so I'm glad I picked that up. I also had this on CD. It was like it's a 2-in-1 CD with Crimson and Clover, so I was familiar with it already. Okay, Gene Loves Jezebel. This is the first album of theirs in my collection, and I wasn't too familiar with them before, but they're known as a goth rock band, maybe darker pop rock. There's some jangle in there too. Really like Motion of Love, Suspicion, and 20 Kilohertz. Yeah, that was really good too. So this is on Geffen right there. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm gonna probably go back further in their catalog to their previous albums next, but let me know what your favorite records are by Gene Loves Jezebel. So I got that one for $10. Next we have Love and Rockets with their self-titled album from 1989. This is a US press. I have all of their 80s albums on vinyl now, and I've talked about this band before, but if you're new to them, members of Bauhaus formed this band. So Daniel Ash, David J., and Kevin Haskins. They have a different sound to Bauhaus, so it's like more psych and glam influences, I would say. This one, however, tends to divide the fans. Some fans have claimed that they sold out with this record. I like that label though, but like check that out. It's like kind of mesmerizing on that cover. There's definitely some Jesus and Mary Chain influences on here. Sisters of Mercy. They have a song on here called So Alive that's like heavy T-Rex vibes. So I feel like this is a good album. There's a variety of styles on it. It's interesting. I wouldn't call it a favorite of mine from their catalog, but I'm glad I finally found it, and I didn't like the price I paid for it. I think it was $25, but again, this is one I don't see around anymore, and I wanted to complete my 80s album collection of theirs. So this was also at the last Des Moines Record Show, and the guy was like, I can't believe that's still here, so I decided to go for it. All right, next we have a few more. Take this out of the outer sleeve. This is Simple Minds, Empires, and Dance. So another band from Scotland. I don't think I've talked about Simple Minds on my channel before. I don't think I have. Pretty sure I haven't. Now I own 3 records by them. I also have Reel to Reel Cacophony, New Gold Dream, which is down there. I don't know if you can see it. So this is their 3rd album. This is the first time I've come across this one. I think their stuff is just getting harder to find, at least their earlier stuff, in my experience. It's on Virgin Records. This is the 1982 UK press. Yeah. This is very dancey, like thick bass lines, kind of a marriage between post-punk and synth pop. I find it kind of haunting. So John Leckie was behind the controls on this. This had to have been an influential album, right? Originally released in 1980. So like I said, this is the 1982 reissue. I love it. I Travel, this Fear of Gods, 30 Frames a Second. Like this is one of their most solid albums in my opinion. Simple Minds. All right, we have Wall of Voodoo next with Dark Continent. This was high on my want list, this one. So this is on IRS. And by the way, I finally watched A Music War. I found it on, I forget what the app is, but somebody mentioned that it was on this app. So we already had it on our Apple TV, so I just went ahead and found it on there for free. So I finally saw Erg, and this band was in Erg, Wall of Voodoo. So this is their first album actually. And I love it. This would definitely be on my either top 100 or top 200 albums of all time. A lot of you want my top 200. I think right now I've compiled 150, so it won't be too hard for me to come up with 50 more, but that is still very much in the works. So this band, they were in Erg, and in fact they performed Back in the Flesh on there, and it's a pretty rad performance, but I don't know, I just feel like this album was very ahead of its time and innovative. I'm super glad I picked this one up. I've spun it a couple of times since Sunday already, and I'm just like in love with it, especially side 1. I think I I really connected with that side a lot more. But yeah, it's kind of like, I would say synth and maybe a little bit of punk combined. I get like some Talking Heads vibes with Devo. It's like kind of nerdy synth punk. I don't know how to describe it really, you guys, but that's just kind of like my quick take on this album. So check out Wall of Voodoo and Dark Continent. I would like to get their follow-up album. I think the lead singer, Ridgway, I think he left after their second one. And their second album, they're more well-known for that one, by the way. But I love Dark Continent so much. All right, next we've got two more, and I'm wearing my Susie sweatshirt. Had to, because I did find another one of their records. So I found their covers album called Through the Looking Glass, which has been hard for me to find. I've been really just trying to complete my Susie albums collection this year. I kind of feel like I've been listening to Susie more this year than I ever have. The three bands I'm pretty obsessed with right now are Felt, Susie and the Banshees, and Cocteau Twins. So maybe I'll do like a ranking of Susie albums in the future along with Cocteau Twins. We'll see. But yeah, like I said, this is their covers album. This, if you haven't heard it, please do check it out. This is an excellent, perfect copy. I believe it's a US press. Yeah, on Geffen. So I know a lot of people maybe shun covers in general or covers records, but this is one of the better ones. And just, you gotta take my word for it. It really is. It comes with this inner sleeve. So they do covers of Iggy Pop's The Passenger, which is so well done. They do a cover of Television's Little Johnny Jewel, The Doors' Your Lost Little Girl. On the other side, you've got This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us from Sparks. You have, an interesting cover of Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. And then Dylan's This Wheel's on Fire, which I still prefer the Birds cover of that, but Susie's cover is awesome. So, yeah, I'm obsessed with Susie and the Banshees right now, and just Susie Sue in general. And I was reading up more on her the other day, and she's been through some stuff, you guys. I don't know if you know her story, but she's been through it. Let's move on to my last one and wrap this up. This was a super cool find. So Rosillos, can't stand the Rosillos. This is a punk band from Scotland, and I know I've shown this on CD format before. I have like an extended CD of this and some live stuff that I found in Oklahoma City last year or the year before, but this is an original US press, which I don't think I've come across in the wild before. I could have when I first started collecting, but I just got into them maybe the past 2 years. So this is on Sire. Original US press, super cool to find. $26 is what I paid for it, which according to Discogs, that's a really good deal. So, and it plays great. Really sounds phenomenal on vinyl. And this is their only studio album under this name. This is more on the set of like early pop punk with some humor, lots of humor. Yeah, like I said, originally released in '78. It didn't come with an inner sleeve. They do a great cover of Dave Clark 5's Glad All Over. So there's plenty of nods to 60s pop on this. And the singing duties are shared between Faye Fife, hopefully I said that right, and Eugene Reynolds. Such a good record. Maybe I describe them like as a cross between Ramones and the B-52s, or I think I read someone, that's how someone described them, and I agree with that assessment. And this is worth seeking out for your collection for sure. I'll probably give this a little mention in my next punk update episode as well. So yeah, just invigorating punk, light and wacky and fun. You can't beat it. Do check that one out. So those are the finds from the Des Moines Record Show I picked up. Let me know what you liked seeing the most, what records you love. And I will probably be back next week with a pretty big punk records update video if I have the interest for that. So I also, before the end of the year, want to show my favorite vinyl finds that I found out in the wild and not online. So I want to just compile a list and do that. And yeah, I hope to probably do at least 2 or 3 or 4 more videos before the end of the year. Thank you as always for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, keep the tunes spinning. See ya.